Hey guys, Desolator Magic here with another DNN news update, and I'll just spoil it right off the bat. It's all just dumb crap Wizards did. Look, it's news headlines you gotta know about, but at least I'm combining them into all one video, okay? It's a volume of dumb crap that even I have trouble following, and I do YouTube full time. Alright, number one, we've got Neon Dynasty pre-release and release updates in the Philippines and Thailand. Due to logistical challenges, we are announcing changes to the pre-release in the following regions. Philippines, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty pre-release and release combined. So in other words, moved back a week, I guess you would say. So they're moving it from February 11th to the 18th. Now this was announced on the 10th and it's currently the 15th, so I just kind of missed this, plus I was traveling. So then they just basically say, contact your local game store for details. And then in Thailand, the pre-release events are just completely canceled. So pre-release products will not reach Thailand in time for Kamigawa Neon Dynasty pre-release on February 11th. Remember, they announced this on the 10th. It was probably the 11th in Thailand because of time zones when they put this out. That's the real story here, because I mean, what percentage do you live in either of these places? But that's hilarious. So they say, we still don't have a firm date for resolution. I mean, yeah, we get it. Shipping's messed up. Okay, whatever. It's not Wizards' fault. But, and this is a big but, they've been pulling crap like this since before COVID ever started. Stuff has been showing up wrong. Stuff has gotten stolen because Brazil can't have nothing nice in Brazil. I don't even understand why people still vacation in Brazil, okay? What was Fallujah, Iraq not available? Anyway, yeah, Wizards has been having stuff show up late all the time. But here's the thing. There is a significant and severe risk to the stuff showing up a week or two early. And if you've ever ordered something from like AliExpress with their god-awful free option, or like eBay International, or Newegg pretending that it's not coming from a foreign country, but it is, because they're a glorified third-party platform now. Yeah, weeks, not days, weeks. Little bit of plus or minus a week variance there, but if it shows up early, anybody at the distributor can grab one. Anybody can have one fall off a truck. Anybody can accidentally ship them to the stores early, and then all of a sudden the pictures hit the internet. Now with this set, the pictures hit the internet hard. So they're in this tight spot where international logistics is a nightmare. You can't get stuff where you want when you want, even though even before COVID it was hard enough, but they were just incompetent, lazy, and stupid. Now you take that and multiply it by COVID and have the existing massive risk of it showing up early and them looking like, incompetent morons for leaking it. But then they usually turn around and have it leaked anyway by just carelessly sending it here, there, and everywhere. Or in this case, it looked like theft at the printing facility. That's what it appeared to be to me. Or one of their, low budget, low ball contractors, one of the, their web people, one of their translation people, they leak an entire document of the whole set online. That's happened multiple times. Well, for sure once, it's complicated anyway. Then you have them embedded in the arena code accidentally a couple weeks early. People leak that. So it's like, yeah, they're, acting like it's the worst thing in the world if it showed up early. It is. And it ruins their spoiler season, but they seem to be the only ones who care about that because they get about the same level of hype, and they've been accused and very strongly evidence to support the fact that they've faked leaks before, and they took the photos themselves at their own headquarters and leaked the card images themselves for hype. And it gets more views because it's more exciting. It's like, here's something naughty you're not supposed to see. Ooh. Instead of, the first couple pictures from a set I may or may not care about and something I probably have to buy. So it all comes back around to, I would have just sent the stuff to Thailand 2 weeks early, and then if somebody doesn't sit on it, say, sit on this in your distribution warehouse. Whoever the distributor is to all the shops in Thailand, sit on it. It's high security. Don't unwrap it. Don't send it. We'll pay you an extra 1% to sit on it in your warehouse. Just do it. And if they do it incorrectly, threaten the crap out of them and give them a worse price next time. Okay, that's how you deal like hard business. That's how you get shit done. Now, out of all the places they sell, and the cards aren't even in the local Thai language, this time around, maybe I'd still give them like an A- for getting it to all the other places like Europe, the rest of Asia, all that. So all this is another haha Wizard screwed up and somebody's entire country got screwed over. Yeah, hate to say it, but Philippines and Thailand aren't the bigger ones. They're not the biggest market, so that's why they're just like, here's the statement, and then nothing after it, no apologies, no, we did so bad, we're changing our process. But they also didn't blame COVID, so it's like, this is almost just like, okay, it happened, whatever. But, as I mentioned before, they were constantly getting stuff to other countries at the wrong time and late before COVID started. So to give them a 100% free pass on this, I think is a little too generous. So it is what it is, but then we've got this. I think I already covered this, but I'm just going to, a contrasting news story in case you missed the first one. Statement on Cyber Trespassers cards. It has come to our attention that in the English printed version, so their primary demographic in multiple countries and the country they're from, well, America, not England, whatever. The version of Cyber Trespassers from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty does not list the appropriate creature type, no matter how much they want to be. The Trespassers are not, in fact, ninjas. Oh, I'm glad you're having fun with it. You know what would have been more fun for the rest of us is proofreading the cards. I guess this isn't proofreading. It's not like they spelled something wrong, but I don't know. I don't even know what goes into this. Just carelessness. They've done typos. They've done typos in the flavor text. They've done day one Oracle updates. They had Hostage Taker accidentally neglect to write it so it can't target itself, and then you had a self-contained infinite combo that involves one card, a one-card infinite combo with itself. They have trouble rooting out two-card infinite combos, but they do it. Anyway, it's like they've been going up. I bet you could graph this, the number of mistakes just in English, let alone the other countries. Oh my gosh. The other language versions have, I would say, 20 to 50 on average, from what I've heard, mistakes if you collectively add up like French, German, Spanish, all that stuff. They have translation errors so careless and stupid. It's just amazing. And I'm not talking about the one where they made up a strange fantasy name for that dragon or whatever lately, and then oops, it's accidentally basically in Brazilian Portuguese slang. Okay, that's just oopsie. This is not an oopsie. This is just you guys being morons, okay? It's a Moonfolk Rogue. It will be reflected correctly in other languages like on Arena and online. Oh, that makes me feel better. Let me just get out my Sharpie and fix your problem for you that you could have prevented. So while this is one of the less egregious ones compared to just like utterly spelling the words wrong and getting missing parts on a card. I mean, they've just been screwing up over and over and over, and it's been getting worse lately. I guarantee in the last 3 years, it's more than it's been in the 3 years prior. I guarantee it. My guess, work from home. They've also had a lot of people quitting lately. They've also had some job openings. I don't know. There's no excuse for one person who's competent just taking an hour and proofreading the damn cards. There's no excuse whatsoever. So next up, we have another statement. If you just go to Daily MTG, look at the last 30 days and just look for the word statement, this is getting embarrassing at this point. So this is February 15th, hot off the presses here. A statement on German language Seven-Tail Mentor cards. Oops, we're sorry about the Nazi imagery. No, just kidding. They would do that. They would do that on accident. They're that incompetent. But no, this time it has come to our attention that the German language printed in digital versions of Seven-Tail Mentor cards from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty are missing the dies trigger rules text. Players on Magic the Gathering Arena using the German language version of that card will still get the dies trigger, even though that card doesn't mention it. The missing rules will be visible on Arena in the coming weeks. And they're probably thinking, okay, what does the third paragraph say? Because they're kind of leading that in a direction. No, the article just ends. Let me just reiterate in case you didn't find this weird. So it has come to our attention that the German language printed and digital versions of Seven-Tail Mentor are missing the dies trigger rules text. So the whole when it dies, that's missing on paper and digital. So then they say players on Arena using the German language version will still get the dies trigger even though it doesn't mention it, and it will be added in the coming weeks. Does anybody else feel like then the next part should have been but in paper? It looked like a on one hand, on the other hand, or like a compare and contrast kind of statement. It looked like they're here's two things. Let me address one of them. And you're gonna talk about paper? Now, I know from experience, if there's a typo, a printing error, whatever on a card, the Oracle version is the one you go with. In fact, like any older card from 20 years ago, you might as well not even read what the card says, just go with the Oracle version of it, which is usually functionally identical. Not always, though. Sometimes the card really does work in a completely different way because they updated it later. There's a couple examples of that, actually. I should probably make a video on that. It's very interesting. So the official in the database recognized version of the card overrides anything that the local card says. So they should have added in one sentence about, yeah, we're going to change it on digital as soon as possible. In the meantime, it's going to work the way it's supposed to. Also, it works the way it's supposed to in paper as well. But I think I know what's going on here. It's pretty shady, and you're not going to like it as soon as I say it. I think that they neglected to mention what the official rules are for paper. They just kind of left it and ran. They just dropped the story and bolted because they know it's pre-release season. It in theory just happened, but they have launch day drafts. That's a thing. They have launch day F&M. They might run a second seal tournament, and they know that people pulling the card, like they don't want them to know that there's supposed to be something there that's not there, because the whole store doesn't know. You're just going to play the card normally as written, which is incorrect. So then you don't need one person telling another person who calls a judge, who calls the store owner, and then everybody crowds around and they all pull out their phone and they go, oh, my opponent wasn't making it up that there's supposed to be words on the card that aren't there. It does have an on-death trigger that's invisible on the card. Wow, Wizards screwed up. So if they never mention it, well, there you go. But I mean, it's like anybody who read this article knows that it's at least wrong in digital, but like, yeah, I think that's why they felt like, why don't we just not say anything about paper? I could have sworn too that in the past they've said for individual events, standalone events, if there's an error, you go with as written. The closest I can say right now is the Challenger decks, which here's another little news story. People were just blowing up my socials and stuff telling me to cover this. They are selling a Challenger deck, which is just like basically a net deck, a watered down, very value calculated, tightened up net deck that needs to be upgraded right out of the box basically, but it's still pretty powerful. And there's usually like, about 4 of them or whatever. So this time around, they're selling one with Faceless Haven in it. Faceless Haven has been banned in Standard. The Challenger decks are in Standard. So they're selling now an invalid, I guess you could say incorrect product, because it says Standard legal like right on the front of the box or something like that, or it's at least implied that you just bought a Standard product that you can play in Standard. So they just said, okay, if anybody does like a Challenger deck battle, like a Challenger deck event where you just pick whatever one you want or pick one at random, then everybody fights and you do a little mini tournament, which even I've been to those, while the deck as is legal for those tournaments. I think they also said the deck as it sits, if you don't change a single card in it, are legal for Standard constructed going on until rotation. So you can run Faceless Haven, a banned card, as long as you're running the exact unmodified version of the Challenger deck, which you should immediately modify as soon as it gets out of the box. Yeah, that was a great idea, Wizards. You sit there counting them one at a time, trying to find a deck list online. Then the judge says, oh, yep, you swapped out 2 basic lands for a dually. Or, well, okay, 2 dualies. Oh, nope. Invalid, you're playing a ban card. I would love to pat Wizards on the back for getting rid of Faceless Haven at all, for banning it, even though it's in a Challenger deck, like one that is about to come out or just came out or whatever's going on, because we've seen them blatantly wait until the Challenger decks are printed and then ban a card later. They have definitely done that, and even if I'm remembering that wrong, they've definitely not banned a card because it's in a Challenger deck, period, and then never banned it. Clear as day, they have done that. And they've just let cards ruin Standard to sell some crappy little side product. That's why they should never have brought back Challenger decks, okay? They used to be called, like, I think event decks. Yeah, this ain't new. They brought them back. This goes way, way, way back. People hated them. They got rid of them. And then they thought, well, on the other hand, money. And then they brought them back. Yeah, we like selling people non-randomized singles, entire deck products in a deck building game where we sell loose boosters. Let's do that. That won't screw with the supply of those singles as we print off 1 million more copies and just let them loose on the world. That won't crash everybody's inventory prices. Sure, let's do that and make another, 500,000 when they make like many multiples of millions on a master set. They can just do that instead and have the side products not be greedy, cash grab, irresponsible, game ruining crap. No, gotta have that extra 500,000, if even that much. I mean, even their Commander decks outperform their Challenger decks by far, from what I heard. Come on. I mean, talk about getting your priorities wrong. This has got to be a Chris Cox thing, and I'm glad he's leaving, okay? And I guess the last story, really the most minor one out of all this, there's a Street Fighter secret lair, and some of the art was released. Who gives a shit? Hell, there was the second land ones, and then there was some Japanese, who's that pop singer that doesn't exist? The 3D one. I was going to say the fake one, but the fake pop singer. Oh, excuse me. That's all of them. I might have to be a little more specific. So yeah, the Aquarius lands, the second astrology lands, as if anybody gives a shit. That's out. Don't buy them. And we're starting to get leaks, spoilers, I don't even know, of the Street Fighter thing, and just... who cares? Also, I guess a little teaser, because obviously this is going to be its own video. There has been, I guess they're calling it a banned and restricted update for Commander, one of the Commander variants, and that's not what I would call what they did. I would call it the biggest effective ban in all of Magic history. I still gotta read the details, but that'll be a future video. So also I've got the craziest unboxing you have ever seen today. It is gonna be popping off this week. I came back from Vegas and woo, hit the ground running. Let's go. We actually hit the ground really hard in that plane. But not enough to get truly injured and sue them, though. So that's a shame. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Hit the subscribe button if you don't want to miss the absolute madness, and I'll see you guys next time.